Right now, there are currently 41 heroes in Overwatch 2, and this is my favorite thing about each one of them. And starting with Diva, there was a couple of different things I could have chose because I love eating like Mei ultimates with defense matrix, but I ultimately decided on the remake because who doesn't like squishing people like little bugs? Although it is kind of rare for this to happen, but that just makes it even better when it does. And the animation also reminds me of Titanfall 2, which if you've ever played it, you know that's a peak game. And moving on, we got Doomfist.
And they say, hot cocoa.
For Junker Queen, I could really only think of one thing, and that's just yoinking people with the knife because you can pull them to you or in a hole, which is always great because having some way to get an environmental kill always makes you so much more of a fun hero. And for Mauga, I bet you were just expecting me to say nothing, but I'm actually not going to say that. What I am going to say though is how much I love fighting another Mauga, because doesn't this look like fun to you? And here we are with another hero I would say nothing for, but there's a new game mode out right now, and she has an ability where she can fly like a helicopter, so I think that's pretty cool. And for Ramattra, I would have said the infinite ult back in season 2, but that doesn't exist anymore, so I didn't want to say that. But I absolutely love saying Rhine 1v1 in chat and then picking Ramattra. There's no way he's right on her. Oh my god. No, bro. No. I am so sorry. Speaking of Reinhardt, my favorite thing about him is charging people off the map, and instead of letting go right at the edge, no, you have to sacrifice yourself with them in true Reinhardt fashion. And for Roadhog, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm just gonna say the hole, because they even made a whole community map about this. Who doesn't like playing Roadhog on Elios well? And for Sigma, this might have been the toughest one yet, because there's a lot of things to love about Sigma. You know, his beautiful bald face, or even the fact that he's got the dogs out and barking. But more importantly than that, there's one clear option here and that I had to pick. The universe! It sings for me! Anyways, for Winton. Next up, my favorite part about Wrecking Ball is seeing one on the enemy team, knowing that I'm about to get the easiest win of my life. But hands down, the best part about Zarya is her ult, and I think this is my favorite ult to combo with in the whole game. There's something just so satisfying about seeing 3 or more people in a Zarya grab that just like tickles this part of my brain that I can't itch otherwise. And before we move on to DPS, I just want to say real quick, if you enjoy my content and you haven't yet subscribed, I would really appreciate it. And it would help me reach my goal of 2,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and it would mean a lot. But moving on to Ashe, I gotta say something as simple as just hitting somebody with Bob, watching them fly into the air, and just sniping them like that. Just gone. Deleted from the game. And now for Bastion, I will say this with no shame, I do play him a lot. But besides Bastion tech with the grenade and jumping all over the place like a cricket, I do love mowing down tanks and just watching them get deleted from the game. And it's even better when they're on Zarya and you just mow through both of their bubbles and they're forced to switch off Zarya because of you. Next being Cassidy, another hero that I play a lot, and I absolutely love going for these crazy nudes in the backline, just flanking them and out of nowhere just getting 2 free kills, maybe 3 if you're lucky. Even though the ult is underwhelming most of the time, doing something like this just makes it so much better. And for Echo, I gotta love copying somebody and gifting them at their own hero. And if they deserve it, sprinkle a little teabag in there too. You got yourself a nice toxic chat. And to me, there's nothing more entertaining than that. But for playing Genji, there's nothing more satisfying than watching a Bastion destroy itself with its own wrath. Especially when they stop shooting for just a second because they realize you're still in deflect, but they start shooting too early so they still die anyways. And moving on to Hanzo, there's no other choice here besides Cupid Hanzo. Mwah. This skin is truly perfection at its finest. And for Junkrat, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but on Dorado you can actually shoot over the spawn. I've only ever got hit markers with it, but I've seen some crazy clips of people getting kills, which is insane. I love this though. And with Mei, there's truly no better feeling than watching a tank helplessly try to turn around and go back to their team only for them to see a ginormous May wall standing in the way. But you just gotta be careful you don't accidentally do this to your own tank. And my favorite thing about Pharah is balling. And now for a Reaper, who doesn't love pressing one singular button and watching everyone around you just fall to their knees? It is a free play of the game nearly every time. But with Sojourn, I also picked her ult because it is so satisfying just railing Pause. It is so satisfying railgunning so many people with your ultimate and just deleting them from the game. And for Soldier, there's no better feeling than cracking open a cold one for the boys when they're low and we just can't get healing. And bonus points if you're wearing the Grillmaster skin, because you quite literally pop a soda can for the boys.
Time to drink up.
But I know everybody hates fighting against a Sombra. That makes it so devious when you become the villain, when you become the bad guy and start hacking people out of ultimates, because there's something so satisfying about this. Moving on to Symmetra, who would I be if I didn't think the car wash was my favorite thing about Symmetra? You get that same villainous vibe that you do with Sombra when someone walks underneath the bridge on Eichenwald first, while watching them desperately trying to cling on to life, slowly turning around to break the turrets. Now for Torb, I think I only have to show you this riveting gameplay to get my point across on why this is my favorite thing about him. Now for Tracer, there's no better feeling than seeing a Zen on the enemy team, because they are quite literally Tracer food and can't do anything to help themselves. And it is so fun to watch them pop Transcendence when you stick them with a Pulse Bomb. Venture is probably the second best boot character in the game. You can't go wrong with that at all. I don't even need to explain why this is my favorite thing about Venture, because just free boots. For Widowmaker, I like something just as simple as one-shotting people and making them mad, especially if it's at the start of the game. But for Ana, you know how I said Grav was one of my favorite abilities to combo with? Well yeah, Nano is my second favorite. Seeing the person that you nanoed get a team kill because they went absolutely insane is such a good feeling. And now for Baptiste. I absolutely hate Baptiste. I think he is the most annoying character to fight against in the game. So I can't pick anything. I can't pick a single thing that I like about Baptiste, because I hate it all. But moving on from that to Brig, I love the feeling of 1v1ing a Reintard once again with the Reintards, but I absolutely love doing this because it just shatters their ego. And there wasn't much that I could have picked for Brig really, so I just went with this. And for Illari, I have to go with her ultimate, because sticking somebody with it and watching them run into their team just means free kills, and they literally die of their own stupidity, so it's great. And for Juno, I gotta go with pretty much being a third DPS, because when I see a Pharah on the enemy team and none of my DPS are going hit scans, I can just take care of it myself. Like, there's literally nothing that they can do because I'm pretty much a third DPS. And moving on to everyone's favorite hero, Kiriko, I gotta say, Suzu is one of those abilities that you hate unless you're the one using it, and perfect timing it against a Diva Bomb, or just cleansing a Junker Queen ult, or just purple grenades in general. Like, it is so crazy to perfectly time and just ruin just about any ult in the game. But I just something a little more simple though, I have to go with just saving teammates from environmental kills on Lifeweaver. Because if you perfectly time that and save them from death, you just gotta give yourself a nice pat on the back. And now most importantly for my main, Lucio. Now what do I love about Lucio? Well, I'm glad you asked. And for Mercy, there's no feeling more intense than going one-on-one with your ultimate with another Mercy. And bonus points if y'all are both nano too, because this is just butt clenching intense. And here we go with just another villainous activity, straight up evil, and that's not having to aim at all on Moira really. Just hold the fire button and you just get free damage. So if I feel like turning my brain off for a couple of games, then I can just play Moira. And now for Zenyatta, I've been waiting for this. Who doesn't absolutely love deleting characters from the game that look like a horse, and also the guy that looks like a character from the Moana movie? Yeah, Discord Orb is insane at deleting tanks, and it was even more cheeky back in season 8 with all the Mauga mirror matches. And if you had a Zenyatta and they didn't, you could just blow up the other Mauga and win. And at the time of this video, that is all 41 heroes in Overwatch 2. And yeah, I know the new tank hero is coming out soon, but he didn't quite make it in time for this video, but that's okay. He'll be here next time. But if you want to see more Overwatch content like this, then you definitely got to subscribe and help me out. And this video literally took days to get all the footage for alone, not even including the ungodly amount of time I spent editing this. So I'd really appreciate it if you help support me. And I also just made a TikTok, and the link will be in the description, and I just uploaded a special video on there that you're gonna want to see. And if you have any different opinions than me, I would love to know in the comments, so please let me know. But until next time, just keep on gaming.